I'm Ryan O'Dowd, and this is the Black Hand Communique. Today's subject is a subject that's sore in the mind of our people in America. It's the Middle East situation, Israel and Gaza, all the fucked up shit that's been happening over there lately. ISIS or ISIL or just the Islamic State, whatever they're going by this particular day. And just the general willingness of the leaders of our country to engage in that part of the world in a way that's violent. And I want to start by saying this is not a protest based on any kind of morality. Um, I don't think at this point, with what I know about people in history, that you can honestly expect the leadership of any country to do anything moral whatsoever. If they do, it's merely tangential. It's a fluke. It's some country like in Scandinavia or something that's accidentally doing something right because they're all so cold. They fucking think maybe we should help each other out. Other than that, people don't do that. Leaders of countries don't help people. So I'm not arguing this on a moral basis. I'm talking on a pure basis of enlightened self-interest or even sociopathic self-interest, psychopathic self-interest. Why does our country keep fighting wars that have no objective and no point? There clearly is no moral reason that we went to Iraq, but there doesn't even appear to be, at least to the average person, to me, the layman, an economically justifiable reason why we would go to Iraq, a militarily justifiable reason why we'd go to Iraq, any interest of personal power whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. And what's the objective once we got there? Was there an objective? Was there something that was actually set out from the beginning that we're trying to do? Or Afghanistan's the same way. I guess Afghanistan was kind of tangentially related to 9/11 because Osama bin Laden hid out in the mountains over there for a while. So then you'd think that the point of Afghanistan war was kill Osama bin Laden, right? But they killed him, and we're still fucking there. So it couldn't logically have been that. That was the objective. And same thing with Iraq. We killed Saddam Hussein. We're still there. We still have bases, and now ISIS is taking over, and they're way worse than Saddam Hussein ever was. And they happen as a direct result of trying to impose a democracy on a country that has literally never known one in the 5,000 years that it's been around. And what I'm asking is, why the fuck are we doing it? What for God's sake, what self-interest is there in stirring that fucking hornet's nest up against us, against the American people, against the American government? What basis does the American government have for just stirring that up? The people that lead in those countries they don't know what reason means. I'm not talking about just average Muslims or anything like that. I'm talking about the people that manage to climb to the top. They don't know reason. They don't, even sociopathic. The only psychopathically reasonable country over there is Saudi Arabia, and they're the worst of their people of anybody. But none of the other fucking countries seem to understand what's in their self-interest to do. They're so concerned with their completely irrational point of view that they'll send little kids to fucking blow themselves up and stuff like that. And again, I'm not talking about, this isn't about morals is just analysis about why the fuck we would even do anything. Why not just let them kill each other? Why fucking involve ourselves in that, literally that hornet's nest? Because when there are concentrations of power, in the Arab world, that come from unreasoning allegiance to a religion that allows for violence to this day. And that's one of the main sources of social organization over there. Like, that's one of the main forces that actually holds their society together, is that religion. And I'm not opposed to the religion per se, but a lot of the leadership that arises is absolutely fanatical and insane. So they will kill themselves knowing by killing themselves they will accomplish nothing. So they will literally, like Like when you're gonna, again, they're doing exactly. They got us to do what they do. We go to war over there for no fucking reason. Let people die, make people die for nothing. Completely unreasoning. Like there's no reason for it, logically or economically, let alone morally. And so they will like literally kill themselves, and they'll know, like the people in Gaza will know when they fire a rocket, they're not going to beat Israel. Logically, it's just a superior force. Israel, I'm not, again, it's not nothing to do with morals. Israel is a superior force. So you can't beat them. But they do it anyway, because their religious beliefs allow them to think that the fact that it's impossible means God will make them able to do it. Like the very fact that their victory is impossible means, because we serve a miraculous God, he's going to step in. And that is insane shit. And yet we wrap ourselves up in it by going over there and by invading these countries and overthrowing their fucking, like in Iran, we overthrew a democratically elected guy a long time ago. Long before I was born, probably before my dad was born. Installed the Shah. We support Saudi Arabia, the worst dictator. Again, that's all moral reasons, but my point is, we get tied up in this fucking hornet's nest, and these people are insane. So the more we involve ourselves, the more repercussions there's going to be for our country. It will be a more violent situation. It will only get worse the more we involve ourselves. These people, not all of them, but the ones that I'm talking about, are terrorists. They don't, and they're religious fanatics. So the impossibility of their victory makes them absolutely certain that they're going to get it through God, which is something that's afflicted lots of religions. I mean, Christianity, Catholicism, and Judaism have certainly felt that way. Israel still acts that way. They have manifest destiny over there too. And yet, we continue to do this. And Israel's doing the same thing now in Gaza as well. Netanyahu said, there's no objective to this military thing. We don't have an objective. We're attacking them because they attacked us. We literally have no objective. There's no means of telling when the thing is over. We went into Afghanistan, no objective, no means of telling when it's over. We went into Iraq, no objective, no means of telling when it's over. It has nothing to do with morality. How do you fight a fucking war without an objective, without an end? What was the objective of World War II? Unconditional surrender of the Axis powers. That's it. When we got it, the war was over. We had ticker tape parades and some guy got kissed in New York and they took a picture of it. But now we don't have a fucking objective for any of these wars. Israel has no objective for what they're doing in Gaza. Openly, both countries, our country and Israel, are openly saying, we have no objective. So what the fuck are we doing this for? Why are we stirring these people up? Why are we creating these social calamities for them? Why are we bombing them? Why are we killing them? And enraging an already irrational thought process that they have when we have no objective in the first place. That's very puzzling to me, because I like to believe that the people that run this country are completely evil psychopaths, but they think. They think there's a reason for what they do. What the fuck is the reason? To provoke an irrationally violent group of people into war with literally no objective, no definition of victory from the outset. What's the point of that? And that's why I object to all of it. I object to Israel. I object to our involvement in the Middle East through violence. I think we should let the Sunnis and the Shias and the fucking Salafis just get together and fucking kill each other. Because that's what they'll do if we're not there and if Israel's not there. That's what we should let them do. We shouldn't involve our fucking selves for no goddamn reason. And I am going to end with that. But I will add what I consider to be a subjective point of view. I have read, you're going to roll your eyes when you hear this, I have read The Morals and Dogma of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And in that book, Albert Pike, 33rd degree Freemason, says, we need 3 great wars. The first, to get rid of the old kings to get rid of them once and for all. World War I. The second, to obliterate pure capitalists and pure collectivists, is basically to solve the problem of labor, is what he was saying. And that's World War II. After that, there was the Cold War and there was a battle, and also to begin to eliminate the idea of God and the consciousness of man, which is another consequence of that war, World War II, was atheistic existentialism, the growth of atheistic state communism, and the spread of atheism through the United States. And I'm not saying anything about atheists or their people, but I will say that that was a stated objective in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for the purpose of undermining people's allegiance to a moral system, not for examining the truth or not examining the truth. I'm sure there are moral atheists just as there are immoral Christians or Muslims or otherwise. But in the minds of the masses, not the intellectuals, if you make them atheists, they just fall into decadence. And then he said the final great war that has to happen is between the Western powers and between Islam in order to eliminate all religion on earth. Whether you consider that to be a noble objective or not, and I'm making no comment about that, I think that's the best explanation for why our government is engaging in this irrational series of wars for no fucking reason, even sociopathically, psychopathically self-interested reason. It is described in that book that will be what the last great war before the Grand Revolution that they plan is. So you could consider me crazy. I just say if you're interested in that, look it up. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Albert Pike. And I'm Ryan O'Dowd. This has been the Black Hand Communique. Fuck the man.